Rain poured over the glass walls of the fashion building in Lagos, turning the bright city lights into blurry streaks of gold and red. Inside, music thundered through the hall as cameras flashed along the runway. Ada Okoye stood backstage gripping her sketchbook so tightly her fingers trembled. Tonight was supposed to be everything. 3 years of sleepless nights, fabric scraps, rejected sketches, and relentless hope were finally about to pay off. Derek had promised her that. "You trust me, right?" he had said that morning, kissing her forehead before leaving their apartment. Ada had smiled. "Of course I trust you. You're my fiancé." Now she watched from the shadows as the host stepped onto the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced, raising his microphone. "Tonight we introduce a revolutionary fashion collection that blends African heritage with modern luxury." Ada's heart pounded. She glanced around, expecting Derek to call her forward any second. But he didn't. Instead, the host continued. "Please welcome the brilliant designer behind this collection, Vanessa Cole." Ada froze. The name echoed in her ears like a gunshot. "What?" she whispered. Then the music started. The first model stepped onto the runway wearing a dress Ada knew better than her own reflection, because she had designed it. The second outfit appeared. Another one of her designs. Then another. Every single piece was hers. Her breath caught in her throat. No, this can't be happening. She pushed through the backstage crowd, her heart racing as she searched for Derek. When she finally found him standing near the VIP section, he looked perfectly calm. Too calm. Ada grabbed his arm. "Derek, what is this?" Her voice shook. "Those are my designs." Derek slowly turned to face her. For a moment he said nothing. Then he sighed. "You weren't supposed to find out like this." Ada blinked. "What do you mean?" He gently removed her hand from his arm. "Listen, Ada," he said quietly. "You're talented. I won't deny that." Her stomach twisted. "But talent isn't enough in this industry." Her voice cracked. "So you stole my work?" "I didn't steal it," Derek said smoothly. "I positioned it where it could actually succeed. You sold my designs. I sold an opportunity." Ada stared at him like she was looking at a stranger. "You promised this was my breakthrough." Derek shrugged. "And it is. For someone else." The words hit harder than a slap. Behind them, the audience applauded as another model walked the runway wearing Ada's most personal creation, the dress she had designed in memory of her late father. Tears filled her eyes. "You used me." Derek's expression hardened. "You were too soft, Ada. Too trusting. This industry eats people like you alive." Her voice trembled. "We were getting married." He looked away. That would have been a mistake. Something inside her shattered. She stumbled back, unable to breathe. Cameras flashed as applause erupted again inside the hall. But Ada didn't hear any of it. She turned and walked out into the rain. The moment the heavy doors closed behind her, the music faded. Now there was only the sound of thunder and water hitting the pavement. Her entire life had collapsed in less than an hour. Her design stolen. Her career destroyed. Her fiancé gone. And worse, the fashion industry was already whispering that she was the thief. Her phone buzzed. She looked down. A message from her company. "Your employment has been terminated effective immediately." Ada laughed bitterly. Of course it had. No one would believe her now. The rain soaked through her clothes as she stood alone on the empty street. Then headlights appeared. A sleek black luxury car slowly pulled up beside her. Ada barely noticed at first, but when the car door opened, curiosity forced her to glance up. A tall man stepped out. His presence was calm, almost intimidating. Sharp black suit. Dark eyes. Composed expression. He looked completely out of place in the chaos of Lagos nightlife. The man studied her quietly for a moment. Then he spoke. "You should go home before you catch a cold." His voice carried a slight Korean accent. Ada frowned. "Do I know you?" "No." "Then why are you talking to me?" He looked toward the building behind her where the fashion show continued. "Because what happened tonight shouldn't have surprised you." Her eyes narrowed. "What?" He met her gaze calmly. "You trusted the wrong man." Anger flared instantly. "Oh really?" Ada snapped. "And who are you to say that?" The man extended his hand slightly. Kang Jae-Min. The name meant nothing to her. "I'm not interested," she said coldly, turning away. But his next word stopped her. "Your designs deserved better." Ada slowly turned back. "What did you say?" Jaemin's eyes were steady. "I've been following your work for 2 years, Ada Okoye." Her heart skipped. "How do you know my name?" He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he glanced toward the fashion building again. The collection inside that building was beautiful, he said calmly. But it wasn't Vanessa Cole's. Ada felt a chill crawl up her spine. You knew? Yes. And you did nothing? No. Her voice rose. Why? Jae-Min studied her carefully before replying. Because sometimes the truth only reveals itself when people think they've won. Ada stared at him, confused and angry. You watched my life fall apart. I watched your enemy expose himself. The rain continued pouring between them. Ada crossed her arms tightly. So what now? Are you going to give me a lecture about strength? No. His answer was simple. I'm going to give you an opportunity. She blinked. What kind of opportunity? Jae-Min's voice remained calm. The kind that turns betrayal into power. Ada laughed bitterly. I just lost everything. No, he said quietly. You just lost the illusion. He stepped closer. Which means now you're finally ready. Ready for what? Jae-Min looked directly into her eyes. To build something they can never steal again. Ada hesitated. Why would you help me? For the first time, something unreadable flickered across his face. Because your story isn't finished yet. The rain softened. The streetlights glowed through the mist. Ada stared at the mysterious billionaire standing before her. Somewhere deep inside, a voice whispered that this moment would change everything. She just didn't realize yet. That Kang Jae-Min had already been watching her long before tonight. And if you're already wondering what secret this billionaire is hiding, take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Because Ada's story is only just beginning, and what happens next will change her life forever. Ada stood there for several seconds, rain dripping from her hair, staring at the stranger who spoke as if he had been part of her life long before tonight. Kang Jae-Min. The name still meant nothing to her. But the way he spoke about her designs about Derek's betrayal, it made her uneasy. Why were you watching my work? She finally asked. Jae-Min didn't answer right away. Instead, he opened the car door and gestured toward the seat. You're freezing, he said calmly. Get in. Ada hesitated. Every instinct told her to walk away. Her life had already fallen apart tonight. Trusting another stranger seemed like the worst possible decision. But the rain was getting heavier, and the humiliation from inside the building still burned in her chest. Finally, she climbed into the car. The interior smelled like leather and faint cologne. Soft lights illuminated the sleek dashboard. Jae-Min closed the door and took the seat across from her. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Ada broke the silence. You still didn't answer my question. Jae-Min looked out the window as the car slowly pulled away from the building. I invest in innovation, he said. In fashion, in people. Ada frowned. That sounds like something a motivational speaker would say. His lips curved slightly, almost a smile. I assure you, I'm not a motivational speaker. Then why me? Jae-Min turned his gaze back to her. Because talent like yours is rare. Ada crossed her arms. Talent that just got stolen. Temporarily. She shook her head. You don't understand how this industry works. I understand power, he replied quietly. The way he said it made her pause. What exactly are you offering? Jae-Min leaned forward slightly. A partnership. Ada blinked. A partnership? Yes. I don't even know you. You know enough. No, she said firmly. I don't. He seemed to consider her words. I own a technology company in Seoul, he said finally. We build artificial intelligence systems used by major corporations around the world. Ada stared at him. So you're a tech billionaire. That's what the media calls me. And you flew all the way to Lagos to rescue a fashion designer you've never met. I didn't come to Lagos for you, he said calmly. But finding you here was convenient. Ada studied his face carefully. You're very mysterious. I prefer efficient. She exhaled slowly. Okay, Mr. Efficient. Let's pretend I believe you. What exactly does this partnership involve? Funding. How much funding? Enough to build the brand you deserve. Ada laughed quietly. That could mean anything. Jae-Min reached into his jacket and placed a small tablet on the seat between them. The screen lit up. Numbers appeared. Ada's breath caught. Is that? Yes. $20 million? Yes. Her heart started racing. You're offering me $20 million to start a fashion brand? Yes. Ada shook her head in disbelief. This has to be a joke. It isn't. Why would you risk that kind of money on someone whose reputation was just destroyed? Because reputations are temporary. And talent isn't. No. She stared at the screen again. $20 million. It was enough to build factories, hire designers, launch international shows. It was more than she had ever dreamed of. But something about this situation felt wrong. There's a catch, she said. There's always a catch. What is it? Jae-Min folded his hands calmly. You control the designs. That's obvious. I control the business strategy. Ada frowned. What does that mean exactly? It means you focus on creating. And you handle everything else. Yes. Marketing, distribution, investors. All of it. Ada leaned back in her seat. So I'd basically be the creative face of a company you control. You would be the founder of a company I protect. The word protect caught her attention. From what? From people like Derek. The name sent a flash of anger through her chest. You knew about him. Yes. How? I investigate people before investing in anything. You weren't investing in me yet. Jae-Min didn't reply. Ada narrowed her eyes. You really had been watching. For a while. How long? Long enough to know you're capable of more than working under someone else's label. She stared at him. You're very confident about that. I'm rarely wrong. Ada looked back at the glowing tablet screen. $20 million. The opportunity of a lifetime. Or the biggest mistake she could make. What if I say no? She asked. Jae-Min shrugged slightly. Then you rebuild your career the traditional way. Which means years of fighting for recognition while Derek profits from your designs. Her jaw tightened. He wasn't wrong. You're manipulative, she muttered. I'm practical. The car slowed to a stop in front of her apartment building. Rain continued tapping against the windows. Jae-Min turned off the tablet. I'm not asking for your answer tonight, he said. Good. But understand something. What? This industry won't give you justice. Ada looked at him. You'll have to take it. Silence filled the car. Finally, she reached for the door handle. Good night, Mr. Billionaire. Good night, Ada. She stepped out into the rain again. But this time her mind wasn't numb. It was racing. $20 million. A mysterious investor. And a chance to take back everything Derek had stolen. Upstairs in her apartment, she collapsed onto the couch. Her phone buzzed again. Another message. This time from a fashion blog. Vanessa Cole's revolutionary designs dominate Lagos Fashion Week. Ada threw the phone across the room. Tears finally fell. I won't let them keep my life, she whispered. The next morning, Ada stood in front of a glass building downtown. The name on the top floor read, KJ Global Investments. Her heart pounded as she stepped inside. The receptionist smiled. Miss Okoye, Mr. Kang is expecting you. Of course he was. Moments later, she stepped into Jae-Min's office. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. He stood by the glass, hands in his pockets. Without turning around, he spoke. I was wondering how long it would take. Ada walked closer. You were very confident I'd come. Yes. She crossed her arms. I have one condition. Jae-Min finally turned to face her. Go on. If I build this brand, it stays mine. It will. No hidden contracts. No silent partners. You have my word. Ada studied his face carefully. Then she extended her hand. All right, Kang Jae-Min. Let's build something they can't steal. He shook her hand firmly. But as their partnership began, neither of them realized that the most dangerous secrets weren't about Derek. They were about the past Jae-Min had never told her. And if you think Derek's betrayal was shocking, wait until you see what Ada discovers about the billionaire who just changed her life. Before we continue, comment below. Do you trust Kang Jae-Min? Or do you think he's hiding something darker? Ada had never seen money move so fast. Within 48 hours of signing the partnership agreement, her world transformed. A new studio appeared in the heart of Lagos. Not a cramped workspace like the one she used to rent, but an entire creative floor. Glass walls, industrial sewing machines, rows of fabric imported from Italy, South Korea, and Ghana, and a team. Design assistants, pattern makers, business managers, all hired by Jae-Min. Ada stood in the middle of the studio one morning, staring at everything in disbelief. This can't be real, she whispered. Behind her, Jae-Min leaned casually against a table, watching her reaction. You'll get used to it. She turned toward him. I used to fight just to afford thread. Now you don't have to. Ada walked slowly through the room, touching the fabrics like they might disappear. Why does this feel like a dream? Because yesterday you had nothing, Jae-Min replied. And today you have resources. She stopped. Resources or control? Jae-Min raised an eyebrow. You still don't trust me. You're a billionaire who appeared out of nowhere the night my life collapsed. Fair point. She studied his face. Most investors would want credit, press conferences, public attention. I'm not most investors. So what do you want? Results. Ada narrowed her eyes. You're very intense. And you're very observant. Despite herself, she smiled slightly. For the first time in days. All right, she said. Let's see if your investment was worth it. She walked to a large board covered in sketches. These are the new designs. Jae-Min stepped closer. His eyes scanned the drawings. Modern silhouettes. Traditional African patterns. Bold structures that blended heritage and luxury. He nodded slowly. You're thinking bigger. I have bigger resources. And bigger enemies. Ada's smile faded. Derek. Yes. The name still felt like a knife twisting in her chest. He thinks he destroyed me, she muttered. Jae-Min's voice remained calm. Let him think that. Ada looked at him. You sound like you have a plan. I do. What is it? Patience. She sighed. You really like that word. It works. Weeks passed. Ada worked harder than she ever had in her life. Designing. Perfecting. Building the brand she had always dreamed of. The company name appeared everywhere. Okoye House. Her name. Her legacy. And slowly, people began to notice. Fashion blogs started asking questions. Who is behind the mysterious new luxury brand emerging from Lagos? Rumors spread. Investors became curious. And then came the moment that changed everything. A private fashion showcase. Small. Exclusive. But powerful. Ada stood backstage again. But this time felt different. She wasn't hidden. She was in charge. Models lined up wearing her new collection. Her heart pounded. Jae-Min approached quietly. You're nervous. Of course I'm nervous. You've done this before. Last time it ended in disaster. He studied her face. You're not the same person you were then. She took a deep breath. Good. Why? Because the woman Derek betrayed would have broken. Ada looked toward the runway lights. But I didn't. Jae-Min's voice softened slightly. No, you didn't. The show began. One model stepped onto the runway. Then another. Gasps filled the room. Fashion editors leaned forward. Cameras flashed. The designs were breathtaking. African elegance fused with modern architecture. Every piece told a story. And by the end of the show, the audience stood and applauded. Ada felt tears sting her eyes. She had done it. She had come back. But across town, Derek Lawson was not applauding. He sat in his luxury apartment watching a live stream of the show. His jaw tightened as the commentators spoke. Okoye House may be the most exciting new fashion label in Africa. Some critics believe Ada Okoye could redefine the global fashion industry. Derek slammed his laptop shut. She was supposed to disappear, he muttered. Across the room, Vanessa Cole frowned. You said she was finished. She was. Well, she's not now. Derek stood. Someone's backing her. Vanessa crossed her arms. And you don't know who? Not yet. But he would find out. Because Derek Lawson hated losing. Back at the showcase, Ada stepped onto the stage. The applause grew louder. Flashes of cameras lit up the room. For a moment, everything felt perfect. But across the crowd, Jae-Min stood quietly watching her. Not smiling. Not celebrating. Just observing. Like a man studying the results of an experiment. Later that night, Ada walked onto the balcony of the event venue. The city lights stretched across Lagos. Jae-Min joined her. You were incredible tonight, he said. Thank you. You're becoming exactly what I expected. Ada turned toward him. That's a strange compliment. It's an honest one. She studied his face. You talk about my future like you already know it. I know your potential. That's different. Jae-Min didn't reply. Instead, he looked out over the city. Ada leaned against the railing. Why did you really invest in me? I told you. No, she said softly. You didn't. Silence stretched between them. Finally, he spoke. Because strength is rare. Ada frowned. And you think I'm strong? I know you are. She laughed quietly. You saw me crying in the rain. I saw someone who lost everything and didn't collapse. Ada looked at him carefully. You watched me very closely that night. Yes. How long had you been watching before that? Jae-Min didn't answer immediately. His silence was enough to make her uneasy. Jae-Min. But before she could finish, his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen. His expression changed slightly. What is it? Ada asked. Nothing important. You're lying. It's business. She crossed her arms. You're hiding something. Jae-Min slipped the phone back into his pocket. One day I'll explain. One day. Yes. Ada sighed. You really enjoy mystery. I prefer timing. But what Ada didn't know was that the message he had just received contained a single line. Derek Lawson has started investigating you. And if Derek discovered the truth about Jaemin's connection to Ada's past, everything would change. If you've made it this far into Ada's story, take a second to like the video and subscribe, because the next part is where the real secrets start to unfold. And trust me, the truth about Kang Jae-Min is far more shocking than anyone expected. The message on Kang Jae-Min's phone stayed in his mind long after the celebration ended. Derek Lawson has started investigating you. Jae-Min stood near the balcony window of the penthouse hotel suite, watching Legos glitter beneath the night sky. Inside, music and laughter from the fashion afterparty still echoed through the hallway. But his attention wasn't on the celebration. It was on Ada. She was inside the ballroom, surrounded by journalists and fashion editors who only weeks ago had believed she was a fraud. Now they were calling her the future of African luxury fashion. Everything was moving exactly as planned. But Derek moving early, that complicated things. Behind him, the balcony door slid open. Ada stepped outside, removing her heels and holding them in one hand. "I needed air," she said. Jae-Min turned toward her. "You should be celebrating. I have been for 3 hours." She leaned against the railing beside him. "You look like someone who just lost money." "I didn't." "Then why that serious face?" Jae-Min hesitated. "Someone is asking questions about you." Ada frowned. "Questions?" "Derek." Her expression darkened instantly. "That man really can't let go. He's trying to find out who's backing your company." Ada scoffed. "Let him look." "He will." "And what happens when he finds out you're the investor?" "Nothing." Ada watched him carefully. "You're very calm about this." "Derek doesn't worry me." "He worries me," she said quietly. The memory of that night still lingered like a scar. Jae-Min noticed the shift in her expression. "You're stronger than he is." "That doesn't stop people from being dangerous." For a moment neither of them spoke. The wind carried the distant noise of Lagos traffic below. Then Ada turned to him again. "You still haven't answered my question." "What question?" "How long were you watching me before the night we met?" Jaemin's jaw tightened slightly. "That's not important." "It is to me." "Ada." 2 years, she pressed. His silence answered her. Her eyes widened. "You've been watching me for 2 years?" "Yes." "Why?" Jae-Min exhaled slowly. "Because I needed to understand who you were." "Before investing?" "Yes." Ada shook her head. "That's not normal research." "I'm not a normal investor." "That's obvious." She studied his face again. "You knew Derek would betray me." "Yes." "And you did nothing." "Yes." Her voice rose slightly. "You just watched." Jae-Min's gaze remained steady. "I watched the truth reveal itself." "That's not the same thing." Her anger spilled out before she could stop it. "You could have warned me." "If I had warned you," he said calmly, "you would have forgiven him." Ada froze. "You don't know that." "I do." She opened her mouth, then closed it again. Because deep down, she knew he might be right. She had loved Derek. Really loved him. She probably would have given him another chance. The realization made her chest tighten. "You let my life collapse," she whispered. "I let your illusion collapse." Ada stared at him. "You're unbelievable. Yet you took my investment. That was business. And this is reality." She turned away, gripping the railing. The pain from that night returned like a wave. Jae-Min stepped closer. "I didn't cause Derek's betrayal. But you allowed it." "Yes." His honesty was almost cruel. "Why?" she asked quietly. Jae-Min hesitated. Then he said something that made her heart stop. "Because losing everything would make you unstoppable." Ada slowly turned back toward him. "You gambled with my life. I believed in your strength." "That's not belief," she snapped. "That's manipulation." Silence hung between them. Inside the ballroom, applause suddenly erupted again. But the tension on the balcony felt heavier than anything happening inside. Finally, Ada spoke again. "If your plan was to make me stronger, congratulations." Her voice was cold. "It worked." Jae-Min's expression softened slightly. "I know. But don't ever pretend you did it for me." His eyes met hers. "I didn't." The answer caught her off guard. "What?" "I did it because I owed someone a debt." Ada frowned. "A debt?" Jae-Min looked back at the city lights. "Years ago, before I became who I am now, I was attacked during a corporate conflict." Her confusion deepened. "What does that have to do with me?" "The man who saved my life was Nigerian." Ada's heart skipped. "He worked as a security consultant." Jae-Min turned to face her. "His name was Emeka Okoye." Ada's breath vanished. "That's my father." "Yes." Her mind raced. "My father died when I was 16. "I know." "You knew him?" "Yes." The world around her suddenly felt unreal. You never told me this. You never asked. That's not an answer. Jae-min continued calmly. Your father saved my life. I promised him something before he died. Ada whispered, what promise? That if I ever had the power, I would protect his daughter. Tears filled her eyes instantly. My father never mentioned you. He wouldn't. Why not? Because he didn't want you involved in his dangerous work. Ada stepped back, overwhelmed. So everything you've done, the investment, the partnership, was repaying a debt. Her chest tightened. You've been planning this for years. Yes. And you watched Eric betray me because you thought it would make me stronger. Yes. Ada laughed bitterly through her tears. You turned my life into some kind of experiment. Jae-min didn't deny it. I believed in your potential. You didn't believe in me. Her voice trembled. You believed in suffering. For the first time since they met. Jae-min looked uncertain. Ada, no, she said, raising her hand. I understand now. Understand what? You didn't help me because you cared. Her eyes glistened with pain. You helped me because you felt guilty. The words hit harder than anything she had said before. Jae-min didn't respond. Because part of him knew she was right. Ada wiped her tears. I'm grateful for the opportunity you gave me. But from now on, her voice steadied. I build my future without your control. Jae-min's eyes narrowed slightly. You're ending our partnership. Yes. You can't run a global fashion empire alone. Watch me. She picked up her heels and walked toward the door. But before she left, she paused. And Jae-min. He looked up. My father saved your life. Yes. You didn't repay that debt tonight. Her voice was calm. You just showed me who I can't trust. Then she walked away, leaving the billionaire standing alone on the balcony, watching the woman he had tried to shape walk out of his carefully designed plan. And if you think Ada walking away was the end, it wasn't. Because in the shadows of Lagos, Derek Lawson had just discovered something that would destroy everything. He had finally learned the identity of Ada's mysterious investor, and what he planned to do next would start a war. If you're still watching, comment below. Should Ada forgive Jae-min, or was she right to walk away? Because the final part of this story will reveal whether love can survive betrayal, or if some secrets destroy everything forever.